Hey friends, Mark Holmes here with my buddy Cowboy Joe Boo, and as always, thank you guys for watching, commenting, and subscribing to the Joe Boo Sports Report. Without you guys, this literally does not work. I'm sitting here outside, the weather's cooling down a little bit here, and I've got the Cleveland Doo-Doo Browns on versus the New York Jets. And I'm hoping that finally, after 600 and some odd days, that the Cleveland Browns can finally get a victory. I mean, this is just crazy. I want to literally see the Cleveland Browns fans get those free beers and burn the place down. But I'm just enjoying this time, and this is kind of my happy place that I come at the end of the day just to get myself together before I go to bed and get ready to start another day. But I have to admit when I'm wrong. I make mistakes just like anybody else, and I gotta tell you, I made or would have made a huge mistake if I was running the Cowboys. It's no secret that I have never been a fan of Jason Garrett as our head coach. I still believe there are things about him that worry me, and I don't really believe that he is the guy. And I wanted to see a coaching change. And one of the people that I wanted to see as the coach of the Dallas Cowboys was Jon Gruden. Joe Boo, on that one, you need a refill. I wanted to see Jon Gruden as the head coach of the Cowboys, knowing that there's two types of coaches out there. You have coaches that are team builders like a Bill Parcells. Bill Parcells, when he comes in with a team that is literally crap, he builds the team. You can look at the New York Giants, of course, getting their first Super Bowls because of Bill Parcells. You can look at him going to New England and him setting up Bill Belichick and getting that team together. You can look at him with the Jets. He built that one. And you can look at the Wade Phillips, Jason Garrett's teams being built by Bill Parcells. And a lot of those coaches that build teams, that get rosters, that get guys, aren't the guys to get them to the next level. And you could look at the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. Tony Dungy got the talent on that team. Tony Dungy amassed that team. But for whatever reason, he could not get them over the hump. Jon Gruden is that kind of guy that can take talent and get just enough out of them to win it all, because that's what he did with the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. He took the talent that was there built by Tony Dungy and he got him to go to the next level. But the problem with Jon Gruden is he's not a team builder. And when it came to that group getting old and needing to put new talent there, he's not a talent evaluator. He is not at building a team. And you can look at him right now in Oakland, who's saying that pass rushers are hard to find. Who just traded away Khalil Mack in his prime. Khalil Mack. And then he's going to turn around and say pass rushers are hard to find because he's only got 2 sacks in 2 games to begin the season? Are you kidding me? But see, I wanted Jon Gruden because I looked at the Dallas Cowboys. They're one of the youngest teams in the NFL, but they have experience. And I looked at the talent that we have, and generally speaking, it's underachieved. I wanted Jon Gruden because I feel like he's a guy that holds people accountable. He gives you that snarl, that when you screw up, you don't want to come back on the sidelines. He's going to know when to get in your face and cuss you out. But he's also going to be a guy that knows when he needs to give you a hug and pump you up. Because when I saw times like Dez Bryant melting down on the sideline, and I don't see a single coach over there trying to get his head straight because you need that guy, that's where I looked and said, maybe Jon Gruden would be the guy here. But apparently, being in the booth, as he said he wants to put the clock back 20 years, he's putting the clock back in the Stone Age. But I felt like that was what this team needed, because knowing that he's not a team builder, I looked at it and said, you got Will McClay. Will McClay is the ultimate evaluator of talent. He'll get the guys on the field. You got players that are there. You don't need a Gruden to do that. But I'm glad we didn't go that direction. But in a sense, I believe we got some Jon Gruden when we got Kris Richard. Kris Richard is that pit bull. Kris Richard is that guy that will put a foot in your ass and give you that hug or that pat on the butt when you need it. Kris Richard, I got a serious man crush on. He is the real deal, and he's the kind of guy that I was talking about with Jon Gruden. You can see his enthusiasm. You can see when he was there with Kevon Frazier. Kevon Frazier missed a short sack. And Kris Richard knew he's losing it on the sidelines. He's feeling down. Let me pump him up. Let me tell him what he needs to do. And you see him go right back in and get a sack. That's the difference between being a team that might make the playoffs every couple of years to a team that you fear playing. And I believe, and I've said this all offseason, that Kris Richard is already our defensive coordinator. Now, Rod Martinelli is already admitting that Kris Richard is calling the defensive plays. And I think that this is the ultimate situation that we wanted, because nobody works better with defensive linemen, and I mean nobody works better with defensive linemen than the defensive line whisperer. The things that Rod Martinelli does and gets out of guys that people basically leave on the scrap heap is unreal. The fact that you've got an Antoine Woods out there that nobody thought anything about, that is literally beasting as a one technique, is amazing. The David Irvings, the George Selvies, all these guys that he has taken care of. I'm happy that he is, with his bad hip and knees, working just with that defensive line. And having Kris Richard running that defense, guys, he is our defensive coordinator. And he is that Jon Gruden type of guy that literally is putting a foot in your ass, but having you ready to run through a brick wall. And I got to tell you, I am as excited as I can be, because the Cowboys have been missing that for a long time. You need a guy who's a motivator, a guy who knows what he's doing, a guy who knows talent, and he knows how to maximize the talent that he has on the field. And this harkens back, for me, back to my childhood days of the doomsday defense. You looked at Eli Manning this past week, and you could see Eli Manning was done. I'm surprised he didn't quit at halftime with the abuse that he was taking. And I guarantee you, you're going to see a lot of teams and a lot of quarterbacks as this season goes on that's not going to want to face that defense. They're going to want to quit at halftime. And as a Cowboy fan, you should be excited, because the defense has been the missing ingredient from the Dallas Cowboys since the 90s. Yeah, you guys love seeing those 300-400-yard passing games. You love seeing the deep ball and seeing Dez Bryant throw up the X and things. But what has that gotten us over these years? Defense isn't pretty unless you're sitting where I am. But defense wins championships, especially in the playoffs. And I'm excited that we've got the man to lead our defense. And so far, this game over here is kind of ugly. 0-0, but the Cleveland Browns are moving the ball a little bit. So maybe, just maybe, they'll get their first win. 3rd and 6, let's see what they do. Third and 6 on the 48. Going for it all. It's got to be pass interference. Okay, incomplete pass. And one last thing. we're doing a tailgate at FedEx Field. So far, I have already 28 people that say they want to go, and I have 75 people that are interested in there. This thing is growing by leaps and bounds. So if you want to be part of this tailgate, man, I'm trying to literally take over FedEx Field. Go ahead and check out my Facebook page, Cowboy Joe Boo. I've got the event set up on there, so we're posting all the information and everything else on there. And I can't wait for that game. And we'll also be doing one probably later on the season, probably towards December, in Dallas as well. So if you guys want to get a chance to eat some chicken wings and be part of a chicken wing challenge, we're going to get you hooked up. As always, friends, I want to thank you all for all the support, because I can't do this without you. And I will see you guys soon. Jobu, you going to drink that? I'll see you guys later.